Hello, this is Hazel Lucia Tarot. I'm Stephanie, and today's reading is about how you and your person are as a couple. So this is going to be the vibes you give off as a unit, what you two can create together, how you inspire each other, and how you benefit from each other or how you've changed each other for the better. And this could be anybody. This could be maybe a current partner. This could be a potential mate, like maybe somebody you're dating or somebody you're just casually seeing, or it could even be a crush if you were curious as to how you two would be if you were together. But regardless, we have 4 piles here for you today. We have pile 1 with this carnation card and rose quartz. Pile 2 is going to be this flower agate and this peachy pink rose. Pile 3 is going to be this camellia flower and a lemurian quartz. And pile 4 is lavender with this beautiful black moonstone. So take the time to think about you and your partner, take a few deep breaths, and I'll be ready for you whenever you are. Hello there, pile 1. If you chose this little jar of carnation flowers and the rose quartz, we have your reading here for you today about how you and your person are or would be as a couple, depending on where you are in your connection. So we're going to start with the card you chose from the Florography deck. We have Carnation, Uniqueness. In Elizabethan times, carnations were believed to hold the power to prevent people from being put to death. In a now iconic photograph taken by American photographer, a Vietnam War protester is seen placing a carnation into the barrel of a rifle as part of the passive resistance. While carnations generally stand for distinction, different colors carry their own nuances. Pink suggests motherly love and encouragement. Red evokes admiration and compassion, and white means purity and good luck. So just from the uniqueness and this little protesting thing, I'm wondering if you and your person have a lot of Uranian energy or like Aquarian energy, something about like wanting to start a revolution, or if it's not that severe, I guess it would be more like you and your person kind of want to make a difference in the world. And I feel like you might already do that without thinking about it. Like if that's not your intent, this is something you and your connection kind of bring about regardless. But that's just one of your connecting cards. We're going to do this person A and B style with oracle decks, and then we're going to tap into the tarot to see how else you and your person come off. So I'm going to start with your connecting cards. We also have Perthro, which is our rune here. And we also have Disruption. And our last connecting card is going to be Adventures. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of fun energy from this connection, because with disruption, I'm not taking it to mean that you disrupt each other. It's more like you upset the status quo, but in a way that is good. Like you kind of make people, I don't know, something about you just brings change and something different into the world. We also have A and B cards, but not a lot, because I did want to focus on your energy together. So for person A, we have the Sun, 18, Source, and we also have the Fox and Ivy, Adaptability, with number 27. And then for person B, we have the Beaver and Birch, Home, with 30. Let's put these here. And then Uranus, Change, 25. That is funny. What was I saying about Uranus? It's very interesting because I feel like together, the both of you aren't really that much, you're not that rebellious when you're by yourselves, if that makes any sense. Because with person A, I'm seeing somebody who, yes, is very sunny, very much confident in the kind of person they are, but also they're very adaptable. I feel like they're very much go with the flow, so they confidently walk in knowing that they can take on whatever life gives them. They might be a Leo or any kind of the fire signs, because I am feeling a lot of fire from person A, but I'm also feeling that they kind of trust their connection to source, if they do have one, if they're a very spiritual person. And then with person B over here, we have Uranus, but we also have Beaver and Birch, Home. So it's like they're a very stable person. Like they kind of have their stuff figured out. They probably have a well-paying job. They probably have already owned a home, if that's something that they wanted. Or at the very least, there's some source of stability with person B. But then we have Uranus in the background, and I'm wondering if I feel like to them certain conventions are actually an act of rebellion. if that makes any sense. Like, I feel like this is kind of relevant within my generation, at least, where everybody is renting because they feel like they can't really afford a home. But in this case, with person B, their act of rebellion is owning a home, despite that everybody else around them thinks that owning a home is a waste of time. So it's that kind of mentality where something that is seen as traditional or conventional is actually an act of rebellion for person B, because either of how they grew up or because of the society or people around them. So we have two very interesting individuals here, where one is like a source of pride and individuality, but they still are willing to go with the flow. Like, they don't prevent their ego from allowing them to change should they want to, or if they feel the need to. And then we have somebody who finds unconventional things in the conventional, which is very interesting. But with disruption and adventures, I feel like they really, really do love to adventure together. Or at the very least, when they come together, it feels like an adventure, whether that's literally because they like to go on vacation or they like to do weekend trips, that kind of situation. I feel like they actually do like to travel a lot together. They kind of bring something fun and playful out of each other that allows them to want to get more out of life. And then there's also the sense that, how do I put this? There's something very refreshing about them as a couple. Like, whenever people invite them over as a unit, people just find them so refreshing for whatever reason. And this could be like any reason. Like, they really bring life to the party, or they could just bring a different perspective. They might have an unconventional relationship themselves, and people find that interesting. Like, they may wonder how person A and person B make it work somehow, because it seems like they do, especially if one person likes to stay at home a lot and one person travels a lot. But when they are together, it's like, how are you guys so in love? Because with all this pink, I do get the feeling that there's a huge sense of admiration between these two. But it's not overly lovey-dovey. It's just, you can tell that they are very much into each other, but they're still their own people at the same time. Another way I'm reading this Uranus energy is that even though person B is like a sense of stability and home and nurturing, person A finds that odd, or maybe it was like something different for them whenever they met person B, that they finally found somebody who was willing to make them settle down, especially if they are in a long-term committed relationship or even married. It's almost like person B was the one person who could tame person A. Because with the sun, I'm getting somebody very fiery, very feisty. And also foxes, even though they look like they could be domesticated, they're not meant to be domestic animals. I'm not sure if people actually domesticate foxes the way they do raccoons or pigs or something, animals like that. But I've never really seen somebody be able to tame a fox. Befriend one, sure, but not own one as a pet. So it's almost like person B was able to get the fox person to behave, if that makes any sense. Because the fox person, I'm getting somebody who, they got a little bit of an attitude, but it's not a bad thing. It's almost like they have a very fiery spirit, very not wild, but definitely very in your face. And again, I'm not saying these as bad things. These are all very fun things. I feel like person B really loves this about person A. It's very they find it very endearing. What's interesting is with Perthro here, both of you might meditate, or maybe because that is on person A's side, maybe person A has taught person B how to meditate. It could also be the other way around, but I feel like this is actually a rather spiritual connection, even if it's on a very base level. It doesn't have to be like super woo-woo. It could just be very like, you both might meditate on your own terms, or you both kind of understand how energy works and you acknowledge it when it's a thing. But it's, for some of you, I feel like if you are very spiritual, you might have had a 5D connection before the 3D came around. And that could be due to the fact that you have very different ways of living, like especially if one person does travel a lot and the other one works from home or stays at home. I feel like you can just kind of sense when the other person is very, when one person is off, or when one person is going through something. They might call them up and be like, hey, I felt you were going through this. Are you okay? Or, hey, I had a dream about you. I'm just making sure that you're fine. So there is a bit of a spiritual connection here, and that could be part of the reason why people think you're refreshing. Like, you might be very open about this as well. Like, you may tell them, yeah, we go to couples meditation or something like that. I am going to read from the book just to make sure that I am getting everything from this card, because this card kind of stumped me a little bit. Like, the rest of it made sense, but for whatever reason, per throw. The runes always throw me for a loop. I love runes, and I knew about them at one point, but I feel like in my years I've kind of forgotten. But with Perthro, this rune card suggests the revelation of secrets or hidden knowledge. You could soon receive important information or learn something that sheds light on a situation that has frustrated you or confused you. There will soon be a significant revelation of some kind, but the most likely source of that revelation will be from intuitive wisdom already within you. So yeah, I'm getting, some of you may come off very mysterious as a couple, because even though people love you and there's something refreshing about you, there's also a sense of mystery that I feel keeps them coming back for more. Like, if this was a celebrity couple, it'd be that couple people always want to read about, because it's just such an interesting and unique connection that they wouldn't think these two kind of people would get along. Or there's just something very unique about this connection. I don't want to name any celebrity couples out there just because I feel like there's all kinds of just weird energies around certain, but it's very much like, how could person A get with someone like person B, and how do they make it work? It's that kind of connection. I really do feel, because there is disruption and change, that you may have come into each other's lives whenever, very unexpectedly, very out of nowhere. But somehow it was able to last, because the beaver person isn't somebody who just dates around, for fun. They definitely want long-term commitment. And the fox may have been a little bit of they may have gotten around a little bit, take that as you will. There's no shame in that either, but it's almost like finding somebody very stable was very different for them. I'm getting somebody with long black hair or long dark hair. I don't know why that's coming through. And somebody, I don't know, it could be an age gap. It could be a different culture kind of thing. It could also be just very different personalities coming together. But regardless, this actually makes a very lovely energy that people enjoy being around. And as to what they'll create together, I feel like they create their own things by themselves, but when they come together, they bring it together. Like, maybe person A brings a lot of fun, refreshing energy to person B, and in turn, person B provides a home or like financial stability, or even just somebody that they can rely on. But I feel like they really love each other for it. Like, they each bring something that they know they couldn't bring themselves. Not that it's codependent. That's the weird part. There is no sense of codependency here, because adventurous people do not depend on each other. Adventurous people are able to just pick up and go do their own thing when they want. And similarly, these two individuals do the same. Some signs coming through are, I've already said Aquarius, and I got that as soon as I tapped into this reading, but also Uranus. So somebody could have a very prominent Uranus if they're not an Aquarius. They could just have like maybe Uranus on the rising sign or in the first house, or even in just good aspect to their partner, whomever that may be. And then with Sun, I'm getting a lot of first house energy, a lot of Aries actually. I did say Leo, but I'm also getting a lot of Aries, and just a little bit of Sagittarius, depending on what that is. Lots of fire energy. Somebody could also have Sun and Uranus conjunct, or in positive aspect to that. That's as far as I'll go with astrology, because I feel like I tap in a lot into astrology, at least in the aspects. One more thing coming through is actually Taurus with the beaver, because I want to say beaver is one of Taurus's animals, if not Capricorn. So there is a bit of earth energy here, but not a lot, like just enough to ground the connection. So numbers coming through, we have 18, 25, 30, and 27. So somebody could have been at any of these ages, either when they met, or they could be those ages now. I'm also getting numerologically 9, because 1 and 8 reduced to 9. 9 again, because 2 and 7 reduced to 9. 2 and 5 reduced to 7, and then 3 is just, or 30 is just 3. So take these numbers as they resonate. 2025 or 2027 could also be an important year that's coming up. The current year right now is 2023. So just letting you know for reference. And then 30, I feel like somebody may meet. I really do feel like there might be like a 3-year age gap. So we have 27 and 30. So there could be a 3-year age gap here, or 5, or 2. But regardless, let's move on to the tarot to see how else you and your person come off as a couple. We're going to be using the Accurate AF Tarot because I really love that for connections and for love relationships. So we have the Magician, Synchronicity, and Manifestation. Yeah, some of you might be married because there are rings here. Like both hands have rings. If you were to imagine that each hand was one person and the other hand is the other. We also have Six of Wands, Advancement and Recognition. Very lovely card. We also have the Three of Swords, Upheaval and Release. And King of Pentacles, Responsibility and Abundance. I was talking about that earth energy, so I really do feel there's like Capricorn or Taurus coming through. Maybe a little bit of Virgo. And then to clarify these, I'm using the Prism Tarot, another favorite deck. I chose decks specifically that have a lot of words because something about communication, that's like a theme that I was hearing for this entire reading. So regardless of what pile you had, we have Seven of Lightning or Seven of Wands with Defense. We have the Four of Cups with Contemplation. We have, to clarify, this Three of Swords, Seven of Pentacles with Achievement. And to clarify, the King of Pentacles, we have the Two of Pentacles with Priorities. So it's interesting that on the surface, this is a couple that has so much going for them because you're able to pretty much do it. I'm getting a little bit of power couple vibes, but not, how do I say this? It feels like you two don't merge your energies enough for it to be a power couple. I feel like if you spent more time together, or if your schedules or careers somehow meshed a lot better together, you would be able to create just such amazing things, or you would be able to create whatever you want. I feel like you already do this in your home life. Like you guys definitely have either a house, a neighborhood, or even just things, maybe cars, maybe, I don't know, just you have the things that you want because you know you're able to manifest them together. Mostly, I'm also hearing vacations as well. I feel like you manifest some pretty great vacations because you love your travels. But if you were to come together in career or even in family, I'm not getting a sense that you guys have a family. That's going to be the most of you. Some of you will already have families, but most of you, I feel, just haven't had the time or don't really want them because you kind of really like your freedom. But if you came together to do something that would be more long-lasting, you would create empires. But I feel like that's not really your current goal or your current focus. Like right now, you're more preoccupied with having fun, with doing adventurous things, and that's okay, especially if it's like a younger couple. It's fine. Or even if it's not a younger couple, like maybe you still very much prioritize having fun and enjoying life. With the Magician here, Synchronicity and Manifestation, and Seven of Wands. So the Seven of Wands card is very much one of putting up your defenses, of having to fight for something. But with the Magician, I really feel like luck and resources are always on your side. You're able to take on anything that the world has to bring to you, especially if there have been people who kind of question your connection. Because even though you do bring that sense of refreshing energy, you know there's going to be people who kind of don't like it. They're like, oh, well, you two should settle down and have kids, or blah, blah, blah. Or, you know, one person may cheat on the other because they're always away. It's kind of that kind of situation, if that makes sense. Like, you know, there's going to be people who kind of hate on it, even though this connection basically works. It works for you and it works for your current time frame. But with the Magician here, you definitely have divine blessing. You have a lot of control over, as a couple, you have a control over how you want to live your life. And I think that's really what brought you together. You wanted to be able to be free, but still be with somebody, if that makes sense. Some of you may have an open relationship. Take that if it resonates. It's not going to be everybody. But for those of you who don't, you're still very much, what's the word? You're very committed to your person, that's for sure. And very loyal. Like, I feel like you always come back to each other regardless. You always, speak to each other at least once, twice a day. You always check in with each other, and it's rather lovely. Like, you really love having that rock, knowing that it's there and that you can still do your own thing and not be bombarded by somebody's energy or feel like you're being smothered in any way. With the Six of Wands and the Four of Cups, we have advancement and recognition, and I definitely feel like your lives have gotten better just by being together, or they have the potential to get better. If there's anything that is holding that back, it's going to be this Four of Cups energy where you're kind of focusing on some negative things. I feel like that might be one person more than the other, or it could be the both of you. You could maybe really get some insecurities get to you. Whatever those may be, whether those are outside voices or whether those are internal, like especially if one of you is older than the other and you're kind of worried about for example, if you do want a family, you're worried about being able to have children at an appropriate age. Or another way of seeing this is, if you travel so much, are you really building the wealth, the future that you want, as opposed to just settling down? I feel like there is a little bit of friction sometimes within this connection, but it's nothing that you can't really solve. I feel like you both are able to speak about it in such a way that you understand each other and that you truly listen to each other. Because the Six of Wands, and any six number really, and any of the suits, is a card of balance. It's also a card of relationships, because I'm thinking of number 6 in numerology and how they really care about their partners, their relationships, and their families, their immediate family, and their friendships as well. With the Three of Swords, upheaval and release, and Seven of Pentacles, achievement, I feel like there was some heartbreak around certain situations. I'm feeling for some of you, you may have miscarried. That's not going to be everybody, I know, but for those of you for whom that was a situation, I felt like after that situation, you didn't really want to go back and try again. You were like, okay, this is a sign that I need to get up and go do more with my life before I commit to having, commit to having children and raising them and taking care of them. That's going to be very few of you. Or if it wasn't something to that nature, it could have been a career path that didn't pan out, or maybe a field of study that you decided just wasn't for you. Something didn't work out either within this connection, while in this connection, or before getting into it. For some of you, I'm hearing like right around the time you got together with this person, something wasn't working out, but you took it as a sign to move on and go through life. Because the Seven of Pentacles here with achievement, it's a card of hard work. It's a card of putting in, knowing that you'll get that investment back, knowing that you will reap the rewards of something else. So it's a good card to have with the Three of Swords, interestingly enough, because when you put them together, they actually create the number 10, which to me is a card of completion. So it's like you knew the remedy for this discouragement or this disappointment, whatever it was. And it could have been the both of you. Maybe it was something you took on together. Or let's say the disappointment, the Three of Swords energy here would have been maybe one of you had to move for work. You had to work like in a separate part of the world, and the other person couldn't move, so they had to stay where they are. It kind of allowed you to build an even deeper connection and a better connection. Whether even if it was long distance, or like I feel like you could just visit each other like regularly, maybe once a week or once a month, something to that extent, where it actually adds to your connection, because in seeing them in a different part of the world or country or whatever, you're able to enjoy more, because suddenly, oh, you're in a big city once a week, so you can have fun. And like that kind of situation, you make the best out of everything that is handed to you as a couple. With the King of Pentacles and the Two of Pentacles, I really see this connection kind of balancing out a lot more the more you are together. It's almost like you may have started very unconventionally. You may have started very different than all these other couples, but you'll see that you actually start fitting into that well, I don't like saying that. Let's not put it that way. Because I don't think you'll ever fit into a mold, pile one, you and your partner. But there's definitely a huge potential here for growth and abundance and just things that will last a lifetime, even if what is lasting a lifetime is this connection, because I really do feel like it could go for a while. Because you know how to balance your priorities, you know how to balance each other out, and you know how to balance things in your connection as well. I feel like that challenge itself, making things work, is something that really drives the both of you. Specifically, this King of Pentacles person, whomever that may be, whoever is more earth-like in your connection is who I would take this as, regardless of gender, of course. So whoever's like an earth sign or has more earth in their chart, or is just more stable and has their ish together a lot more, is somebody who really enjoys being able to make this work. And in turn, the other person is able to really just have a home in their person. And that's quite beautiful, pile one. But yeah, it's quite amazing that you can handle so many obstacles that are headed your way, regardless of what is going on in your connection. It's a very powerful energy for sure. But let's move on to your closing advice and guidance. Oh, numbers that are coming through. Sorry, before we move on, we have 6, 3, 4, 2, and I also have a pair of 7s. So I'm wondering, 7 is a very spiritual number in numerology, or at least when it comes to home. So I'm wondering if either of you have like a house that has either a 7 in it or reduces down to 7 numerologically. 7 is also July, so maybe July is a month of importance. Also June. So June, July, maybe some of you got married or met in July. And 1, of course, for the Magician as well. Somebody's initials could be K or V. Take that if it resonates. But yeah, there's actually quite a bit of stability in a connection that looks like it otherwise wouldn't have any stability, if that makes any sense. Like from the outside, people think, oh, I don't know, how do they make it work? Or some people probably doubted your connection as well, like, how is that going to work? But you're able to beat the odds, that's for sure. And it's not even luck. I feel like some of you may not even believe in luck. You just know that it's commitment to one another that makes things work. But let's move on to some closing advice. I'm using the Animal Apothecary deck. Let's get 2 cards for my pile 1. We have Surrender to Receive with this otter. Oh, that is so cute. And the number 2 as well, 2 for pairings. I'm thinking of all the 2, like the 2 of Cups is what I'm getting, because it is water and 2. And then almost there with the fox. So yeah, foxes are a big thing in this connection. Maybe you live somewhere where there are a lot of foxes. My old house, we actually had a den of foxes in the neighborhood. Or maybe somebody could like foxes. But it's interesting that they're both blue and they both have these little rainbow-like things as well. So I really do feel like there's a lot of flow of communication between you two, especially if it is like a long distance connection where you know that if you don't communicate, then there's basically no connection at all. With Surrender to Receive, I feel like whomever was the person who wasn't used to settling down, they really had to learn this, to surrender, in order to bring in all the goodness that a connection like this could bring to them. And I'm also thinking of these otters. Otters go to sleep holding hands, and that always makes me think of just, you know, like a cute, loving connection where even if, I don't know, even if you weren't together, you would still be good friends, or you would still be there to support each other. With Fox, almost there. I feel like some of you are trying to achieve a very certain and specific goal. And if so, this is just confirmation that you are almost there with number 44. Somebody could be age 44, but you don't have to take it as that. It could also be somebody's a life path 4 or a life path 8 as well. But I'm also thinking of stability, because with 4, I think of 4 corners and a house and 4 walls as well. But yeah, I think specifically the fox person, whoever resonated with person A in the oracles, you're almost there with whatever this is. For some of you, it could be this job that is asking you to stay away from home for so long, and maybe you're just really looking forward for when it's finally over and you can return home to your person and, you know, be in this lovely, playful otter energy. So I really do feel there's a little bit of playfulness between the both of you, or you feel very giddy and playful when you are with each other, even if you don't typically feel those emotions or connections. And then 2 more cards from the Affirmators deck. This is the deluxe version. I usually use the love version, but I don't know, I feel like some decks can be limiting when they are all about love or relationships. But also these cards are huge, so I'm sorry if the shuffling isn't the best. So let's get 2 cards for my pile 1. We have vulnerability. I allow myself to talk about my feelings without fear of external judgment or internal drama. When I express my feelings, a couple of funny things happen. I feel like a kindergartner. And 2, everything gets lighter, easier, and filled with the comforting glow of honesty. Hey, no wonder kindergartners seem so fun and glowy and free. Yeah, I feel like this connection really forced one of you, or maybe both, to be very vulnerable with each other, especially with this surrender. I feel like you learned to open up with each other and to each other, and kind of became each other's most trusted confidant, if that makes sense. We also have space. I'm officially freeing up space in my schedule and dialing my brain buzz down to like an 8, formerly 11. Maybe making space can mean a lot of things. Rest, daydreams, Colombian mud baths, but no matter what my preferred poison of placidity, the point is it's time to take a beat, empty my mind, and reset all these poor little overpushed buttons. Oh, and if I track any Colombian mud in the house, sorry, I can't clean it now. I'm busy making space. So I'm taking this to mean several things. I feel like some of you could use some rest and relaxation, especially if you've been overworked, or you could use time away together, maybe a little bit more, or maybe this is something that is coming in your future. Maybe you've already planned a vacation for yourselves that you can meet up and just relax and take time to unwind, and specifically with each other, but not in a way where you're like codependent on each other. It's more like you give each other the space when you're together to do the things you need to do in order to feel reinvigorated. And that's really lovely, especially with that meditation card that came up in the oracle. Some of you will be revealed some intuitive truths this way, or maybe some of you actually do some type of shadow work or energy work, and you kind of help each other with that. I'm also hearing that you really know when to give each other space and when to come back into each other's lives. And even when you're together physically, you still give each other that space. It's not a smothering connection at all. It's one where you allow yourselves to be each other and to take up as much time with each other to do the things that you need to do, because there's a lot of respect between the both of you. There's a lot of understanding between the both of you. And this comes due to this vulnerability you were able to have with each other. But again, that sense of playfulness that I kept talking, it's funny how these 2 cards are really, they're very similar with surrendering and vulnerability. You allow yourself to be very childlike with each other. And that's something that not everybody gets to see. And it's also very healing. It's like inner child healing work, but with somebody else that allows you to feel the same way. But that is all I have for you today, pile 1. Let me know if any of this resonated. So much love, and yeah, wishing you nothing but the best. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, pile 2. If you chose this lovely rose and flower agate, then we have a reading here for you today about you and your person and how you come off as a couple to the rest of the world. So we're going to start with some oracles, and then we're going to get into the tarot to see how you are. We're going to start with the card you chose, and we have Pink Rose, Grace. In the 19th century, roses represented lust and desire. I'm not going to read all of it just because it has a lot of historical stuff that I feel isn't very necessary. Pink roses emphasize the themes of lust, gluttony, and sloth. Dark pink roses are said to represent gratitude, where lighter hues suggest admiration, grace, and hot pinks mean confidence, energy, and joy. So, because I felt the need to just look at very certain specific things, I feel like this connection likes to cut through the crap, if that makes any sense. I feel like when you two came together, you kind of came together for one specific purpose, maybe two, or you were very clear with each other about what you wanted when you first got together. That's what I'm getting from this card and what I'm channeling. We're going to move on to the oracles. We have some connecting energies and then a few person A and person B cards. So connecting energy, we have La Goose. For person A, we have Aries, 1, Act. For person B, we have Pisces, Sensitized, 12. That's very interesting. We have the first and last sign of the zodiac. Connecting energy, Standstill. We also have Sadness. And then for person B, we have the Trout and Lily of the Valley, Purification. And for person B, we have the Rooster and Sunflower, Communication. So this is quite interesting. I get the feeling you two are currently not together, or there might be some sort of friction going on in this connection. I'm getting that from Standstill and Sadness. But with Purification and communication, I feel like there has been a reason for why you two aren't together. And this is the energy you're giving off to the world, that there are currently difficulties within your connection, and some of you may even be separated but not quite broken up with, if that makes any sense. Or if this was like a friends with benefits connection, you're currently not in the benefits part of it. It's more like you're at the friends part. But either way, I get the feeling that these two individuals are not currently together, or if they are, there's something keeping them apart. Take that if it resonates. If that doesn't resonate, we do have 3 other piles you can look at. But if it does, and if you want to dig into this, let's keep going. I'm going to restart with this card from the Modern Runes book. If I can find Runes for Modern Life. With La Goose. I feel like some of you really love going to the beach, or some of you may surf. So we have, the meaning is fluid and water. La Goose is the rune card representing water, and water is a universal symbol for emotion, both positive and negative. If this card appears, you are being encouraged to release your emotions and let them flow to the surface. Tears can be very cleansing, and emotion should be acknowledged and openly expressed. Don't hold back. Allow yourself to feel and live your life to the full. This rune also shines a light on the importance of being guided through your intuition. Another association with this card is the need for renewal. I feel like that encapsulates what this entire connection is currently going through, because I want to get like an overall view of what this connection is, but there is clearly something right now where it's keeping this connection at a flux, if that makes any sense. It's like, if you want this connection to just remain a connection, because I feel like some of you are on that cusp of whether you should stay or you should go, person A and B really need to reconcile emotionally. And for what this reason is, I'm not sure. Because we did get grace, I feel like there is a lot of love towards each other. But the standstill and the sadness could be due to a lack of communication, maybe on person B's part. Let me start with the people as well. I feel like I'll get a better sense of what this connection is. So person A, we have an Aries, we have an number 1, somebody who is very impulsive, but also somebody who kind of I feel like they do trust their intuition quite a bit, because I'm being drawn to the third eye, but I'm also thinking of the crown, and these would be two body parts that resonate chakra wise, astrologically wise, to connection to source. And I feel like this impulsiveness is kind of due to their trust and intuition on the Aries part. So I feel like when they met person B, or when they got into this connection, they felt a sense of purity with the Trout and Lily of the Valley. They felt a sense of, they really liked what they saw in person B, to the point that they almost wanted to emulate it quite a bit. And I feel like at one point it just got to be too much for them. I feel like they retreated back into their habits that they use to either escape or deal with stuff. And I don't think these are necessarily bad habits, so they could be. It could be like a sport, because I'm thinking of surfing. Maybe if they surf, they go back to surfing. Or if they do anything in the water, they could have done that as well. I feel like if they are somebody who does sports professionally or semi-professionally, they retreat to that a lot in order to avoid having to deal with things in life like their emotions or what they feel. Um, they could just work out a lot as well. I am getting a little bit of somebody, because if they're not an Aries, they definitely have that Aryan energy, if that makes sense. Like somebody who just needs to let out their emotions in a physical manner, um, whether that be like boxing or, like I said, working out, running, something where they're allowing the physical to keep them from having to deal with the emotional. Um, and then with person B, I really do feel there's a sense of disconnect between these two people. Whether it was on purpose or not, we'll find out. But with person B, we have sensitized. But in this case, I feel like person B is trying to feel desensitized. I really feel person B is the one trying to communicate more with their person here. And I feel like at one point they kind of just stopped because they realized that it was getting kind of one-sided, and they didn't want to start going down a downward spiral, if that makes sense. With communication, the rooster and sunflowers, I really feel like they want to go back to the sense of the back and forth, the communication. If this was like a friends with benefits connection, I feel like they would like to have that again. But something came at some point in this connection that made it so that they couldn't do that anymore, if that makes sense. I feel like maybe some emotions were expressed, or maybe one or the other wanted more from this. And neither really know what to do with that. I really feel it was person B expressing their emotion more than person A, because Pisces is all about emotions. They're very honest, even with, at least with themselves, about what they feel, or at the very least they acknowledge that they feel a certain way and that they have to do something about it. And in this case, it was to let person A know how they felt. And that was just because they wanted to be honest about it. And instead, person A has retreated, because I'm thinking about how this fish is looking this way. Even the ram is looking this way. Meanwhile, person B, they're trying to work on themselves by looking internally, but they can't help but look at person A and wonder, well, don't you have anything to say? It's that kind of connection. But overall, there's a sense of sadness, I think, on both parts. I feel like person A would like to acknowledge these emotions. Maybe they're aware that they're not emotionally at the level that person B needs them to be in order for this connection to progress. So it's at a standstill. But at the same time, they don't want to let go. That's quite interesting. That I'm thinking of these turtles here. Turtles move very slow. And likewise, I feel like person A has a bit of that turtle energy where they kind of don't want to let this go for whatever reason. It could be that their physical relationship was really good and they would just like to keep that. But I also feel like they're kind of afraid of being vulnerable, if that makes sense. And I really feel like, because what this card was telling us was to clear through, or what I was channeling from this card was to clear through the crap. It's like, well, let's look at this connection how it is. Like, do we want the same things? Clearly right now it's not quite, but why? I feel like they would both benefit from doing internal work on themselves and coming back to this. But I'm not sure. There's just a lot of water imagery, both with the fish, this beach, and this swamp even. But also lots of feathers, lots of birds that can fly. Well, roosters can't really fly. Well, they can. They glide. I mean, they have feathers. It's almost like, interestingly, these two animals are standing when they should be flying, or they're on land when they should be in the air. It's almost like something doesn't want to take off just yet. And I'm pretty sure if you did stick with this pile, and if you chose this pile, you kind of want to know where this connection is headed. Yeah, because what can you create together? What do you create together? There's definitely, I feel like when you're intimate take that how it is, whether it's physical or even just hanging out, you bring out emotional things within each other. You might bring out, like, maybe you had similar childhood upbringing or similar experiences. Just enough of emotions were showing that you were able to bond. But at one point, it got to be too much. I think it was when it was expressed that one or the other wanted something more, which is rather interesting. I really do feel like at least one of you feels like you complete each other, but regardless, there is something in the way here that won't allow you to move forward for whatever reason that is. So let's look at the numbers and any other, well, chakra-wise, throat, lots of blue. And that doesn't surprise me because we do have communication here, because we have blue and like 4, 5 of these cards, but also a lot of yellow, or not yellow, sorry, orange. I guess some of it is yellow. Yeah, yellow and orange. So a lot of that sacral energy, which is of course creation, but it could also be physical intimacy. And then yellow, I feel like the confidence in this connection has dipped quite a bit, especially because I think individually you're both very confident people, but when it comes to this connection, I feel like one or the other is not as open to receiving love as they think they are. But let's move on to the tarot, because I'm really curious to see how this connection plays out and what are some possible solutions to this lack of communication between the both of you, and something to resolve this sense of hopelessness. Because I am getting sadness, but I feel like for some of you it might be a little bit more than that. For some of you, I feel like if it wasn't the emotional part, it could just be that one or the other is away and you realize that you're not as... because you're not in a connection that is as committed, that you don't have to speak every day. So one person is kind of communicating more than the other, and they're realizing that if they thought they were developing feelings, then that's not the case. But the other person, whoever's not communicating, they're kind of thrown for a loop as well, because they're like, well, do I want a connection or do I just want this to be casual? A committed connection. But regardless, we have Temperance with moderation and equilibrium. We also have, okay, these two want to come out together. We have the Dawn of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles, which is quite interesting because I was getting that one is definitely very willing to be open to this connection. One of them would like it, and the other one is more concerned about their stability, if that makes sense. I feel like... Sorry, I'm just being overly cautious in censoring these. I feel like one is more concerned about their bag or their career. But let's get one. We're doing 4 cards. Let's get one more card. We have the Lovers, alignment and harmony. Wow. So let's clarify these, just to see what else is going on, because I would really love to tap into where this connection is headed and what you can do about it, because I can tell that you just like want answers, and I'm trying to help as much, though at the end of the day everybody has free will and things do change. So to clarify Temperance, we have the 4 of Coins, sorry, the 4 of Pentacles with security. With the Page of Cups, we have strength, compassion. With the Queen of Pentacles, we have 3 of Wands, the journey. And to clarify the Lovers, we have the two of Swords, indecision. Wow. Okay. So let me see the back of the deck. Temperance again. Wow. So we really need to balance out certain things here. I think emotions more than anything, and expectations is what needs to be balanced. And I feel like you know this already, Pile 2, regardless of who you identified as. You really need to balance out the expectations and what you kind of want out of the other person, if that makes sense. Especially if you felt you were giving too much in one way or another, whether that was emotionally, physically, or even just energetically. Maybe you were just too invested. Reel it back, because you can't get answers if there's too much at stake, if that makes sense. That's how you know that something needs to be readjusted or reworked or just put into balance. But with the 4 of Pentacles here, security, somebody is definitely not willing to let go. This is that hoarding energy. It can be security for sure. And I'm not seeing it so much as money here. It's more like they're really wanting to hold on to their stability. Somebody has a way of life that they rather enjoy, and they understand that if they were to continue if they were to pursue an emotional committed connection with this person, they feel it would be at stake, if that makes sense, or they feel they would have a hard time balancing that out. It could be that one person or the other wouldn't be able to give the other person their all in this connection should they continue with a relationship, because it's like they want to give 100% to everything, and if they can't give 100% to this, then they don't see a sense of pursuing it. And yet when we move on with the Page of Cups, curiosity and discovery, I feel like the person asking for this connection, because I feel it's one more than the other, is very willing to be flexible with it, because we have strength here with compassion. It's like they have the strength to put up with whatever the life of the other person is willing to throw at them. Because this is in the Rider-Waite, and you kind of see it here. This is the woman taming the lion. It's very much like they're willing to be strong enough to put up with whatever this connection throws at them, and whatever the other person may be going through or what they want. And likewise, I feel like they're on for this challenge. They're okay with that. I am getting fire energy again, more Leo now, but it could still be that Aries energy as well. With the Queen of Pentacles, practicality and generosity, and the Three of Lightning, I really feel like, how do I put this? There's a nurturing energy of stability here. Like, I feel they both understand that if they were to pursue this, there would be a sense of stability, or enough stability to see them through. But with Three of Lightning, the journey, somebody is just very tied to the freedom that they currently have, or the options that they may have. I feel like there's a lot of love, but also it's FOMO. It's fear of missing out on maybe other things, and knowing that if they were in a connection, they couldn't just get up and go. And I feel like whoever has those expectations kind of needs to let that go, because I really do feel like both people in this connection, or at least the person asking for this, is actually very willing to be adaptable, which I feel like that person also has to check themselves. It's like, well, how adaptable do you feel like being? Because I don't know. There is definitely an emotional connection here, though, with the Lovers, alignment and harmony. I feel like you both get along, like, on every level. Emotionally, yeah. Physically, definitely. I feel like that's what brought you together. It was definitely a physical attraction at first that developed into more. And energetically, yeah, I'm getting that as well. Not as much, because I feel like this connection isn't super spiritual. One over the other might be, but both of them not quite. With and you definitely complement each other. I feel like your personalities and energies work well, and you definitely have fun together. But with the Two of Swords here, indecision. Again, I hate seeing this whenever we want an answer, because it just means that, yeah, there's a lot of cloudiness here. But I'm gonna, I hate doing this, but sometimes I need clarification, and you deserve clarification, pile too. So we have Temperance. Let's put this over here. We get it. Just breathe. I feel like the situation would sort itself out if you just focused on yourself, because this Temperance specifically has 2 cups, and that makes me think of the 2 of Cups. So if you just breathe, this connection will flow the way it's supposed to flow. But underneath that, we have the 9 of Wands with resilience. I really feel like this connection, or whatever's going on in this connection, could test your resilience, or it could make you more resilient. Again, this depends on where you are and what it is you want out of this. Underneath that, we have the World, Ascension. I definitely feel like you both complete each other, and you would be able to help each other to broaden your horizons, really, and maybe even your sense of what a connection is or should be. Underneath that, we have the Devil with restriction. I'm taking this to mean that really, like I was saying with, well, who was it? Person A, the Aries person, they definitely like to turn to their hobbies or work or whatever physical activity they do to ignore certain situations. And I feel like that's going to be brought up. The other person will be like, why do you do that to run away from your emotions? We need to speak about that, because that's something that has to be resolved. In fact, it might be the thing that needs to get resolved before this connection even begins. It could even be your own physical activity that they just, instead of talking it through, they just start, you just start getting into it. So, and I feel like one or the other has to stop and be like, hey, we need to talk about this, which might be a thing. We also have anxiety. Again, there's somebody has been thinking about this far too long. I feel like it's the both of you. With 7, the Chariot, momentum. I really feel like this will continue for quite a bit before you finally decide, before there's finally an ultimatum, you know, because I feel like it's needed. And I'm going to take the last card and that's it. The Hierophant, unlearn. So the Hierophant is interesting. I've seen people translate the Hierophant into 2 very different things. One is rebellion, because the Hierophant is supposed to be, quote, quote, the status quo. In the Rider-Waite, and this is part of the reason I don't like the Rider-Waite, it's actually a Pope figure. And I think that's why people use it as to mean rebellion. But I always took it to mean the things you learn, the things that are passed down from a teacher. And of course, in the Rider-Waite, it would be the Pope. But to me, it could also be like a spirit guide. It could be an ascended master. It could be the Akashic record. It could be Source itself. I feel like one or the other is going to have to really take advice from somebody that has been through this similar situation, whether it could be a therapist, it could be somebody older, it could be a parent maybe, I don't know. But there is something that needs to be learned. Some of you, if you do energy work or if you do work with angels, guides, or even gods and goddesses, I feel like you will find your answer when you really tap deeply into that. Because to me, the Hierophant is a very spiritual card. And if you do want to take it to mean rebellion, the way a lot of tarot decks, modern tarot decks, seem to want to interpret it nowadays, it could mean that you might just decide to have an uncommitted relationship, but you're still holding on to each other, if that makes sense. And that's fine. I mean, you can do what you want. Just know that that emotional fulfillment, that emotional blockage will have to be resolved before it can be something truly long-term or more committed, if that's what you even want. I feel like some of you may not care for that, and that's fine. But yeah, just if you need an emotional connection and this person is not able to be emotional, that's going to be the main thing of this connection. As to how you come off to other people, I feel like right now it's not important. And as to what you can build together, definitely a lovely connection. A very beautiful connection, but somebody has to heal before they can move forward. It might be both of you, honestly. But let's move on to your advice card. Well, let me talk about the numbers first in case these are important. We have 14 twice. We also have D and Q and V. So any of those letters could be significant to the initials of something. We have 4, 8, 3, and 2. Somebody could be a Leo because that is the card that resonates with strength. Somebody could also be, the Lovers is Gemini. And then water signs, I'm getting Pisces from the Page of Cups, but it could also be Scorpio or Cancer, but I'm mostly getting Pisces. And then the Queen of Pentacles, I'm getting Taurus. Taurus specifically because it's the most feminine of the earth signs, but also Virgo and Capricorn. You would think Virgo is the more feminine, but I always found Taurus to be the case. I don't know why that is. Maybe because I am a Taurus. And most Virgo women, I feel, are more somewhere in, or sorry, not Virgo women, but most Virgos I find are somewhere in between. They balance it out very nicely. But yeah, let's move on to your advice and any other channeled messages that are coming through for you and your person, pile 2. By the way, whatever connection that was there or that you did have is very lovely. And I could see why you would think that the potential for a more committed connection is there. And I would say put a amount of time into it. Like say, okay, I'm only going to give this a few more months before I decide to move on or whether I want to keep doing this. Like that kind. Like it's a subscription trial. Like maybe check in every month or maybe even check in with your person. It's like, do you want to keep doing this or do you want to do something more? I feel like if you communicate that across, it would help a lot more. But we're going to look into the Animal Apothecary for more advice from my lovely pile 2 and their person. We have Prayer Answered with 12 and the Bison. Interesting, I did say something about Taurus, and there's also a little bumblebee here. So some sweetness is coming through. If there was something you were wondering, I feel like your answer to this connection is going to come through. With 12, I'm getting December, if that is a nearby month, or within 12 days, maybe even weeks of this reading, or whenever you get this reading. This reading is supposed to be timeless. And then one more card for my pile 2. We also have Breakthrough with 29. Rather interesting. I really feel there's going to be a breakthrough in this connection for sure. 29, I'm not sure. It could be the 29th of a month. Somebody could be the age 29, or when they reach 29 if you're like close to that age. But yeah, I feel like you're going to get the answers you need if you didn't find them in this reading. And then we have Inspiration. I am open-hearted and eyes wide open-minded, ready to notice any microscopic speck of inspo that wanders my way. When it appears, I follow it without hesitation, and I resist the urge to ask a bunch of questions. It doesn't much matter where we're headed, Inspiration and me, as long as we're wandering along together. Piñatas full of poignant moments are sure to follow. I really do get the feeling some of you don't care to put a label on this connection. Like maybe you just brought up the fact that you really, really, let's say you confessed your love to somebody, or that you felt more for them than they thought. And that kind of threw them for a loop. But I feel like for some of you, the connection will just resume as always, and they'll just like keep that in the back of their mind. But there's still going to be like no sense of commitment or no sense of anything further. But I feel so lighthearted about that it's okay to keep that. Like at least you spoke your truth with this person, and now you're able to continue knowing that you've at least let them know and that you were honest. And your person in turn will definitely appreciate the honesty. And then one more card. We have Self-Love. I openly embrace a feeling of self-love, the PG kind. I love myself because I understand myself. I love myself as the most committed partner I will ever have. I show myself love any way that I can, and when I screw up, I remember to be sweet and gentle with myself. If not, I'm going to make myself sleep on the couch. Got that, self? So yeah, I feel like for some of you, regardless of whether this person stays or not, there's a lot of self-love that needs to be done here. Or even through this connection, even if you're still, doing like a friends with benefits thing, or if you're still dating them and just, if you're still seeing each other, you're still going to work on that self-love. And I feel like with you working on your self-love, pile 2, it's weird. I felt like throughout this entire reading, I was speaking more to one individual than I was to a couple, as opposed to the past pile where I was speaking to a couple. And this could be the both of you that need to work on that self-love. But I feel like through this connection, you will work on self-love. And once you work on that self-love, this person will come to the realization of how they can better treat you. It's like if you treat yourself well, they'll know how to treat you. If you give yourself the love, dedication, time, and attention, they will either learn to do the same or, go off and do their own thing. And you can be grateful you don't have somebody who can't give you that. So those are all the messages I have for you, my beautiful pile 2. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. I send you and your person so much love and so many blessings. And let me know if any of this resonated. If you like doing so, like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next reading. Bye. Hello, everyone. If you chose pile 3 with the camellias and the lemurian quartz, then we have a reading here for you today about you and your person and the kind of couple you are or would be if you're not already in a connection with. So we're going to start with some connecting energies, and then we're going to do it person A and B style. It's not going to be a lot of cards for A and B because I mainly want to focus on the combination of energies between you and your person. So let's start with the card you chose with the Camellia flower, Eternity. Like a rose, camellia flowers are made up of layers of symmetrical spiraling petals. In their native China, they stand for everlasting love. The petals of the camellia, sorry, I've been pronouncing this wrong, represent the woman, while the leaves supporting her represent the man. In other flowers, petals fall away, but the leaves remain attached to the stem. Camellia petals and leaves fall together, signifying union even in death. Their meanings include longing, admiration, beauty, adoration, and loveliness. So This might be my pile that is definitely committed to each other, whether that's officially through marriage or engagement, or just, you know, long-term partners. It depends on where you are. Not everybody will resonate with that, but there's definitely commitment in this connection to each other, regardless of what the status is. We also have Urus here, which makes me think of the Strength card. And then we have Diligence, lots of white, and confidence. And right as I said that, I get a black card, so that's cool. I feel like there's really is a balance in this connection. So let's get the cards for person A. We have Progression's Journey 56, and we also have the Frog and Lotus Metamorphosis. Very interesting for person A. And then we have Series with Nurture for person B, 29, and 31, the Turtle and Coriander, Satisfaction. Okay, so I haven't read a pile that is so confident and happy in their connection. Whatever is going on here, whether you actually are officially together or not, I feel like you two have reached a point where you know what you want from each other and you're able to go and get it. I'm not sensing much conflict here, actually. I'm sensing, because there is a lot of white and light colors, I'm wondering if you are either like an older couple, like both of you are of an older age, or if just by being together, you kind of bring out the old soul in each other, if that makes any sense. Like, you know how to be happy with each other. You know what you each want. And you each just, I don't know, you grow together, which is a very interesting thing. I feel like some couples, they get together and one person grows and the other one doesn't want to, or one person is always carrying the other, and that's their dynamic. But in this case, I feel like you each definitely hold your own weight in the connection. You each do what is necessary of you in this connection, both as individuals and as a part of a couple, to really see you through. Because with this card, I'm getting that you're not afraid to do the heavy lifting, either of you, depending on what that is. For some of you, it may be emotional. For some of you, it may be more physical. But let's start with person A with Progression's Journey and the Metamorphosis. So person A is not afraid of change. Not at all. I'm getting the Death card, but I'm also getting Scorpio vibes because of that need to transform every day. They're not afraid to like reinvent themselves every now and then to better live their life, or to be what it is that they need to be at the moment. For some of you, especially if you already have like a family or something, you're not afraid of changing your tactics when it comes to handling your family. So for example, maybe sometimes you have to be a stay-at-home parent, and sometimes you have to be the one who goes out and does stuff, like, I don't know, maybe go out and get go out and make money. So I don't know why that's coming through. I'm getting the feeling that this person also doesn't mind just like leaving to come back, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like they take their own trips, their own personal trips sometimes, just to come back so that they can be a better person in this connection. But it's not selfish. It's more like it's needed for growth. And person B is more than happy to accommodate that, because I think person B also understands this, but person B doesn't need it as much as person A does. With the Frog and Lotus, I'm thinking of somebody who didn't come from like the best background, because lotuses grow in like the very bottom of a pond, or I want to say it's a pond, body of water, where the dirt is, and they grow through all of that crap to become these gorgeous flowers that float on top of the water. So likewise, I feel that person A didn't have the best upbringing, or didn't have the best environment to grow in, but regardless, they grew, because nothing was going to stop them from progressing in their journey. Almost quite literally. I'm taking this card very literally, because progressions in astrology is like how you're transforming, how you've changed, where you are supposed to be. And person A kind of understands this is like a lifelong process. We're always growing. We're always progressing, or at least we should be. We're not meant to stay the same, because if we were, then we would still be at the bottom of this pond or body of water in all this dirt and muck, as opposed to blossoming into this beautiful lotus that we're meant to be. Now, person B is quite interesting, because I feel like some of them may have come from a much better background than person A. And what that background is can be different. It could be just financially, it could be from a family that actually embraces and adores them the way a family should. So whatever person A didn't have growing up, person B definitely did, but person B didn't find a clash in that at all. If anything, they were more than willing to show person A that this is the way it should be, and not in a patronizing manner either. Like, they're not going to put them down for not having that. It's more like it's okay to express emotion if they came from a family that didn't allow them to, or it's okay to learn how to handle money if they came from a family that didn't know how. It's that kind of give and take that these two people have, and it's rather beautiful. With turtle and coriander, satisfaction, I get the feeling that person B finds it very easy to be a happy individual, at least within this connection. If they aren't by themselves, I'm not saying they're codependent. It's more like they know that when they're with person A, everything is right in the world. And it's rather beautiful. With series nurture, I really do feel person B is the more nurturing one in this connection. They might be slightly more feminine as well, but even then, they know when to step up and have that masculine energy. They're definitely the more I don't want to say stable, but they take things nice and slow. They don't worry, because I'm thinking of this turtle here, as opposed to the frog. Both very similar animals. They're both green or brown, depending on what type of animal it is. And they're both water animals as well. They live near water, so lots of emotion here, but a healthy amount of emotion between these two people. But where the turtle is nice and slow and takes their time, the frog leaps from thing to thing. So I really feel person A is more likely to like move forward and do stuff, or go out there and get things started, and person B will be the one who nurtures this within them. They'll be supportive. They still hold up their end of the connection for sure, but it's going to look very different to the outside world, just because they are quote quote the slower animal. But not slow as in that they can't keep up. It's like they know that their person is out there doing what they need to do, and they're just here for support. Person B, I feel, if they do have a family, maybe like the stay-at-home parent, or the person who parents more somehow, or maybe if you just have fur babies, or the one who takes care of them. But regardless, there's a great balance here between these two individuals, and it's quite lovely. You're both very confident within your connection, and there's also what was the word? Eternity. Yeah, I feel like this is one of those couples that even if they haven't been together forever, it feels like they have. Even if they've only been together 1 year, people are like, oh, really? I thought you two were like married. I thought you two were like childhood sweethearts. Because I'm definitely getting that energy from this this connection, even if you weren't. With diligence, I really do feel like you guys, both of you, are very much you pay attention to the details and the small things in life, both in appreciating the small things, like maybe just being grateful for everything that you have and every little piece of I don't know why I said piece, but everything that you've gained in your connection, you're so grateful for. I'm thinking of a couple that may have like a small house, but like a big heart, and they're just so happy to have a house where they can live together. Or like, I don't know, just you may not have everything, but you have each other, and therefore you feel like you have everything. And that's so lovely, pile 3. Like, this energy is just so beautiful. Like, this is what you expect your grandparents' love to be. It's giving that energy. So I'm going to read a little bit about Urus, because I said I was associating it with the strength card, but I might be wrong. A symbol of brute strength and power, the wild ox of ancient times was both revered and feared because it was wild. This rune is a symbol of physical power, vitality, and good health. It can also suggest great emotional courage. If you are going through difficult times, you must find the creativity inside yourself to pull through. You have great power within, and you need to unleash that power. When you do, there is no stopping you. Yeah, I'm getting power couple vibes from this, and it depends on what you do. Like, some people may not see it as power couple vibes, but once they realize how you actually work within this connection and how you're able to just live such a beautiful, fulfilling life, it will appear like a power couple, especially to those who thought power couples were just, couples that were rich, good looking, and lived out in the city and just lived their best lives. Like, that's not necessarily a power couple. It can be, but not all power couples look the same. It could also be, you know, the mom and dad on a farm with their kids and their pets and, you know, this happy home life. That could also be a power couple, especially if they're like the kind of parents that anyone can come to. Like all the kids in the neighborhood trust them to have like the best dinners, the best candies, to offer the most support and advice. Like just a couple that keeps the community going. And it could be community, it could also just be your family, it could also just be you two individually. Like, I feel like you really have found somebody who absolutely completes you, because with this confidence card, it's interesting that it's like the darkest looking card, but it's so happy. I feel like even when you have struggles come up, you're not afraid to speak about them. You're not afraid to be emotionally vulnerable with each other. So say something bad happens, like maybe somebody loses a job, you know that you two will come through and be successful and succeed, because one person will start, you know, finding a job right away, while the other one makes sure that they're saving enough money and that they're budgeting well until they're able to get their finances back in order, or somebody's able to get a job that is able to provide for them and their family. So yeah, this is such lovely power couple energy. I really, let me know in the comments if you have somebody already and if this is what you give, or if you're thinking about somebody and this is what you're getting. This is a big yes to go ahead and pursue this connection, just to see how far you'll go, especially if you already feel really good with this person, because there's a lot to offer each other. And we're going to get more into the tarot, of course, because I don't know, I want to see how else specifically you two get along. But let's look at the numbers. We have 56, so somebody could be 56. This could also be life path 11 or 2. 11 could be an important number. We have a 6 here as well. You have 31, which reduces to 4 in numerology. Or somebody could be 31. We also have 29. So maybe somebody is 29 and 31, or there's like a 2-year age gap between the two of you. This reduces down to 9 in numerology. Which is very interesting, because we have 2, 9, and 6, which I see them all as like big relationship numbers. 9 being community, but also loving everybody else. 6 being, of course, your relationship with people. And then 2 being partnerships. And with 4, I think of stability and the 4 corners of a house, the 4 walls of a house. So it wouldn't surprise me if these 2 individuals were already living with each other as well. But yeah, let's move forward with the tarot. If this sounds like you and your person, it's very lovely energy. Like, it's almost like everybody would hope their parents are like. That's what makes me think of that. And again, even if you don't want to have kids, if you did have kids, it would be great and they would love you and you would have like such a lovely little family. Which even those people out there who don't want to have kids, I feel like if they did, that's what they would want. You know, I feel like that's what anybody would want. There's always that saying that even if a couple doesn't want to be if they don't want to be parents, you still want to end up with somebody that you know would be a good parent. And I feel like you have definitely found that in each other. So let's start with the Accurate AF Tarot. We have the King of Cups, integrity and stability. Oh, that is definitely coming through in this connection for both of you. We have the Page of Rings. I feel like I'm being extra with censorship, but that's fine. I'd rather be safe than sorry. And we also get crystals. So we have the Page of Pentacles, reflection and diligence. So yeah, if you don't already have quite a bit of abundance, I do see that could be very much in your future, pile 3. So let's see, 2 more cards. We have the Spirit of Wands, enthusiastic and adventurous. This would be the Knight of Wands. We also have the 3 of Wands, development and opportunity. So I really feel like this partnership isn't afraid to go places. You might be a couple that moves around a lot. I'm getting like a military family or something to that extent. But a very healthy military family. Like I've heard, like I personally don't have this, but I have heard, you know, stories of people having difficulty with that, especially if their parents divorced. But in this case, I feel like you actually make the most out of it. So to clarify the King of Cups, we have 10 of Wands, burden. To clarify the Page of Pentacles, we have the Moon, shadow work. So to clarify the Knight of Wands, we have Seven of Pentacles, achievement. And to clarify the Three of Wands, we have strength. Yeah, it's quite lovely because this connection is not without its hardships and struggles. I really feel, oh, okay, I'm going to give you the back of the deck energy for this one because we have the Six of Wands, lightning. Lots of fire energy. I'm wondering if either of you are fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, but also a lot of water came through, even in the oracles. That's Pisces, Scorpio, and Cancer, of course. So I'm wondering if there's a combination of water and fire here, but it works somehow because they're not necessarily opposites. In astrology, the opposite of water would be earth, and the opposite of fire would be, well, ignore what I said. I don't really think there's opposites in terms of elements, or at least, I don't know. I'm going to have to think about it. But when you think of fire and water, you think of two opposite things, regardless of what your elemental symbology is. So we're going to start over here with the King of Cups. So this could be, I honestly feel both of these individuals embody this King of Cups energy. So I'm not going to say it's one over the other. But regardless, with the 10 of Wands here, it's almost like you're not afraid of taking on emotional burdens or taking on the workload, doing the most you can for your family. And it's not self-sacrificing either, because I think the both of you have had to do this at one point or another, that you know that there are going to be times when you have to do most of the work or when the other person is going to have to take on a lot of the work. And regardless, I feel like both of you take it on together. Like there's so much support here that when I saw this card, I usually feel, oh gosh, it's the 10 of Wands. But in this case, I was like, no, this couple is able to really push forward and take on any challenge the world has to throw at them. Especially if this is a connection that has been around for a long time, or even if it's new. I feel like you acknowledge that within each other and you're seeing that this is somebody you can go the distance with. With the Page of Pentacles, reflection and diligence, and the Moon, shadow work, I feel like, so some of you have, I'm feeling it more at the beginning of this connection, that there were certain things, certain insecurities that were coming up in whether you could be compatible together. And these emotions were rather, they had to do with stability. They had to do with your upbringing. It could have been finances. It could have been health. It could have been, I don't know, just some kind of small trauma there that had been passed down through the years through one or the other person. And with shadow work, I really feel coming together has helped both of you release this. It could have been just one person and the other person helped, but it could have also been the both of you. I don't know who I'm leaning more towards. Whoever has more earth in their chart, possibly. But it's rather interesting because with this shadow work, I feel like the other one could understand the other. And because of this, you were able to work through the small traumas, because it wasn't anything big. It was more like small insecurities that were coming up that really that were holding you back from this connection at first. It could have also been like, oh, this person's so beautiful, they could never want me, or something to that extent. But regardless, you worked through them. I really feel like these insecurities were very easy to clear once this person made it, once they were able to help. Because I really feel one person was stuck. The way I'm suddenly having trouble finding words, I feel like one person or the other was exactly like that as well. And as soon as this moon energy came into this connection, which came up when you both got together, poof, it vanished. So it's rather interesting. It's very lovely and very transformative as well. With the Knight of Wands, enthusiasm and adventurous, and then the Seven of Pentacles, achievement. I feel like you understood you could go the distance with this person because you have both the energy to see your goals through. And I feel a lot of them were financial. I feel like once you were able to bring in the financial stability, once you were able to know that you could thoroughly trust this person, your world changed for the better. I feel like both of you accumulated a lot of luck and abundance as soon as you said yes to each other on every level of your being, emotional, energetic wise, I feel like once the energy of yes came through, things happened very quickly, because here we have the Three of Wands. It says development and opportunity, but I also see it as a journey, because these little crystals look like they're going forward in this little desert. So you were able to move forward with each other, and the fact that strength comes up with compassion here, it's like you were able to tame anything that came your way that you thought was blocking you, if that makes sense. It's like you were able to tame that beast of self-doubt that was coming through, and it's quite lovely. I'm not saying that one person was taming the other, or that these two individuals, I don't know, because I feel like individually you are still really great people. It's just that there was some unease when you came together, and suddenly you said yes to each other, and things shifted to the point that you knew you could take on the world. And that includes taming this lion, because with the Six of Wands here, there's nothing but good fortune and victory awaiting you. This is the card of success, the card of, I think of it as yes. Like, it's one of those cards that when I look at it, I think yes. You know, I don't know why that's coming through so much. Maybe you guys are engaged, and once somebody said yes, like the world opened up for both of you, and suddenly life is just so much different. You couldn't think of life before that. And that's fair, because there's just so much goodness here. And again, like I'm saying, it wasn't always like this, and it's not always perfect. There's always stuff that comes up, but you two are willing to put the work in to make this connection and your lives successful. And that's really lovely, pile 3. What's underneath this? We have justice, balance. Yeah, I kept talking about that at the beginning with the oracles. There's just so much balance here. And I get it. Sometimes relationships are going to be like, 70-30 or 60-40. It's not always going to be absolutely balanced, but with you, it will feel like that. Even if to the outside world it doesn't. Like, maybe one person works more than the other, but they don't understand that the person who doesn't physically have a conventional job is doing everything in the household to keep it running, including keeping the other person's life in order. So it's that kind of connection, and it's so beautiful. I'm very happy for you, pile 3. Let me know again what this is, because it's lovely energy. Oh, numbers before I put them away. Okay, we have 10, which to me is a number of completion. And then we have 8 as well, which is interesting, because it's the I'm trying to remember what it is in numerology. I want to say work, like I'm thinking Saturn energy. And then we have 18 here, making both of these things work, a completion of all this work. And you guys really do reap the rewards of your labor, because with 7 here, I'm thinking of the lucky number 7, but I'm also thinking of achievement and progress, hard work. Not saying that it feels like work either, because you keep saying work, but it doesn't feel like work for the both of you. Or even if it does, you don't mind it because it feels great. And of course, 3 here. We also have 6, which again, 6 to me is a number of relationships. With 3, I'm actually getting community. I'm getting that you guys might have a child on the way for some of you. Or 3 could be somebody's life path number as well. And of course, with these cards, I always look at the letters as well. We have K, D, and S, if those letters resonate with anybody's initials. Let's move on to some closing advice for my lovely and very lucky pile 3. Like, I don't think you understand. This is such beautiful energy. So we have the Animal Apothecary. We're going to take 2 cards from this. Even the way they shuffled, I feel like they shuffled so well, and I typically don't shuffle that well. I'm not a shuffler. I know there's tarot readers out there who focus a lot of time on shuffling. I'm not one of those, because I'm not confident in my skills. But, oh, this is so cute. We have this little, is it a mouse or a hamster? Nourishment while waiting. Yeah, I feel like whenever one is more in their waiting stage while the other one is getting their stuff together, they they don't mind working on themselves. So there definitely is still a bit of individuality in this connection, even though it seems like they do everything for each other and with each other. There is a sense of individuality, and I will be reading from the book as well just to get more insight in this card. And then another card from my pile 3, we have Nourish the Shadow. A lot about nourishment here. That's interesting. And what was that card at the beginning? It was nurture. So nurturing and nourishment. I feel like you both definitely nourish each other emotionally, maybe energetically as well. And again with water here. So let me read the card. This is 5 and 33, which 33 reduces to 6. So somebody is definitely a life path 6 here, possibly a 33, because that's what I am. Master number 33. And then with 5, nourishment while waiting, baby hawk. Hawk is a power bird with big medicine. Hawk is fearless and the visionary, the messenger, and the balanced one. Hawk is your highest self. Baby hawk is the image. In this image represents the part of you with an overwhelming desire to step into who you are fully and fulfill your purpose. Mouse represents the nourishment baby hawk will need to develop into her most fulfilled self. What I'm getting out of that is that you both definitely feed each other, if that makes sense. It's like you have what the other provides, or you provide what the other one needs in order to grow. Because even this, I feel like you even help each other with the shadow self, with like the not so great aspects, or at the very least help to heal parts of the shadow self, to do the shadow work. And there's such a lovely balance of light and dark here. Like you guys understand that things will be great sometimes and things won't be great, but regardless, you will have each other. And let's get 2 more cards from the affirmations deck. Or affirmators deck. I don't know why I keep saying affirmations. So we have rest. I step away from my stress, and then a deep breath, and then a crankiness killing nap. When I get the rest I need, I instantly become a better version of myself, able to navigate complex relationships in a single bound. When I don't, I'm not, which means I shouldn't, but I tried to, and then we can't, and then it doesn't, but I did, so it wasn't. That's just their funny bit of it. But yeah, I feel like there is a sense of needing time away from each other. I think I brought that up in the oracle as well. And you know when to give this connection a rest. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you will break up or separate. It just means that you know when to withdraw from each other to focus on your individual needs, or even like maybe your family's needs, if that makes sense. And magic. I believe in magic. I see evidence of it all the time. And though the tricks can probably be explained away by something sensible and ordinary, I'd rather not ruin the fun. Other people can fill their days with mere coincidence. I fill mine with, holy crap, that's unbelievable. Yeah, I feel like both of you are not afraid of like magical thinking or even like energetic magic. You guys know that you can manifest wonderful things in this world, and you don't shy away from the magic, especially if both of you do a lot of energy work together. I really do get the feeling that the both of you do, and this is part of why you're able to have such a wonderful and successful relationship. But yeah, I don't know what to tell you, pile 3. It's such a beautiful connection, and I love that you don't shy away from the negative parts of it either. If anything, because it's so beautiful, sometimes you welcome it. It's like, okay, you're going through something tough, let's work on it. And you both are just so happy that the other person is willing to help them with whatever it is they need. But that is all I have for you today, pile 3. Thank you so much for letting me read you and your person. I'm sending you and your person so much love, and if you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe. And again, let me know if any of this resonated. Take care. Hello there, pile 4. If you chose lavender and this gorgeous black moonstone, then we have a reading here for you today about you and your person and the kind of couple you are when you are together. We're going to start with some oracle cards and then get into the tarot to see exactly what kind of couple you are. we're going to start with this lavender card you chose. And if you're like me, you probably love lavender. It smells so beautiful, but it's also very calming. So already I get the feeling that you two are very chill people, or at the very least, you come off that way if you actually aren't. So let's look at the card Admiration. Like orange blossom, lavender is most frequently used for its fragrance. Its name is derived from the Latin word lavare, meaning to wash, and it has been used to freshen rooms and linens as well as oneself for thousands of years. It is also known for its calming properties and was given to women to squeeze during labor in the hope of its scent would ease their suffering. On the one side, it represents grace, trust, and admiration. On the other, it is said to denote mistrust. In any case, it is a fabulous filler flower and smells divine. So why not err on the positive side? And likewise, I feel like this couple, regardless of what's going on, they choose to view things very positively, because I am getting a very take no nonsense kind of couple. Like they see the good and bad in everything, but they're very willing to prefer to look at the positives, if that makes any sense. Let me go ahead and start with your oracles as well. We have Kenas. We also have Rest and Stillness. Yeah, very chill couple. I wonder if you guys just like to sleep together. Like when you Netflix and chill, you actually just Netflix and chill. But let's get cards for person A. We have Pallas Athena, think, with 30. We also have the Badger and Ginkgo, Healing Wounds. I'm getting some healer vibes from person A. And then person B, we have Taurus, Cultivate, number 2. Just interesting, that's a partnership number. We also have the Antelope and Wheat, Nourishment. Some of you may be called back to pile 3 because nourishment was like such a big word in that pile that I still remember it. So, but it's interesting that nourishment also comes with Taurus because Tauruses love to eat. And I swear, I'm a Taurus myself, and this is why I say this. I swear, we believe that everything can be healed if we eat something or if we ingest something. Like if you drink or eat something. So maybe this couple is similar where they believe in like natural remedies more than they believe in like conventional or modern medicine. They're more likely to look into holistic remedies or herbs because lavender is a very healing herb. And likewise, I feel like they'd rather use lavender to rest than sleeping pills or melatonin, because I can't remember if melatonin is natural or not, but I remember when I took it, I just didn't feel right. So I'd rather, sip on some lavender tea or lemonade, or I don't know, just have lavender around. Also, the fact that there's a lot of herbs in these cards. I mean, these two are going to have that anyway because that's the kind of card they are, but like the astrology ones, they don't all come with herbs. At least I don't think. Maybe I've just never noticed it. But regardless, let's move on to person A with Pallas Athena, think. So person A is definitely a strategist. Some of them could have Athena as like one of their goddesses or one of their guiding deities, because Athena is the goddess of war, but specifically strategy. So I consider her the goddess of strategy in general. Not necessarily war, but she is invoked upon a lot whenever war comes up. Or if you play chess, anything that involves you using your head to make plans. This is Athena energy. And likewise, I feel person A is very much the one who has to plan things out. They're the ones who enjoy mental stimulation. And somehow in all of this mental stimulation, they are also healing, because they're the kind of people I feel like whenever they speak, they naturally heal people's wounds. Like they try to figure people out and help them. It's very much a therapist or psychologist kind of energy. So maybe that's a profession that person A could be, or something similar like a life coach. But regardless, they love to, if they help people, it's because they love to problem solve. It's not so much that they actually enjoy being around people. I'm not saying they hate people. I'm just saying they'd rather be alone. But if they are around people, they're the kind that love to solve people's problems because it's a mental stimulation thing for them. Specifically with wounds too. I'm thinking of somebody who likes to heal with herbs. So they kind of think, well, what's a good herb to help inflammation? And they think, oh, turmeric. So it's that kind of thing. And they love watching the results of that as well. So yeah, I'm definitely getting like life coach or therapist or some kind of herb witchy vibes from person A, regardless of their gender. They definitely believe in the power of nature as well. With person B, I feel like person B really loves person A for that very fact. But person B is a very so they're the more stable one. I'm actually getting Virgo energy from person A as well, because person B is Taurus, but I'm getting that they're a lot more soothing and relaxing. While person A is the one figuring things out mentally, person B is the one who is providing the funds, the stability, the reassuredness that yes, we can go through with this. It's like they're very much a team that moves forward together. And yet, because we have the card of rest and stillness, they understand the power of those two things, because just because you're not constantly going places or moving doesn't mean that you're not doing anything. They understand that sometimes you need to relax in order to move forward so that you can gain the energy to do the things that you want. With the antelope and nourishment here, I feel like it's interesting that both of these animals have horns. So I'm getting Taurus energy from person B, but I'm also getting Aries and Capricorn, or any combination of those, because they're all the horned animals in the zodiac. Person B is so chill and so calm. I feel like most of that chill energy comes from them, actually. And while the more peaceful problem-solving stuff comes from person A, but person B really helps ground person A. I can tell because my thinking and speaking suddenly slowed down a little bit. So I feel like person A definitely provides this happy, calm, peaceful energy for person A when they don't know how to find it themselves, because I feel all the mental activity that person A has can be quite it can induce a bit of anxiety. Not that they have anxiety, though that may be the case, but I really don't feel it, because when they're around person B, it just seems to go away. They definitely have that calming lavender effect on person A, and it helps them get rest and be still. I feel like, yeah, they really love to sleep together, not because, for obvious reasons, the intimacy and stuff, but also because they just feel better when they're around each other. It's like person A can definitely breathe and rest. And person B knows that if they have any problem, they can go to person A and it will be solved, rather magically, actually. Because I think individually they don't really believe in the magic, but when they come together, they do. I'm going to read from the Runes for Modern Life book for Canas, because I do see these two going places regardless. Even this swan, it's stillness, but it's still on water. Like, it's moving, but it's gliding very gently. So slowly but surely, they do get places, even if it doesn't seem that way to everybody else. Canas. This card is most strongly associated with fire. Fire can bring warmth and light in a literal sense, but it can also represent intellectual and spiritual illumination. This card indicates sudden insight and outpouring of creativity and those aha moments of awareness and clarity. If you are experiencing confusion or stagnation, this card may represent the promise of light at the end of the tunnel, or signify that an amazing breakthrough has already occurred or is imminent in some area of your life. Drawing this card could indicate that something needs definitively to end or to be destroyed before there can be a new beginning or a period of growth. So it's quite interesting. I really do feel like they just complement each other so well that they actually find fire within themselves, because I'm actually getting a lot of earth energy from both cards, because the badger, I'm thinking of earth. I'm also thinking of badger moles from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and that, of course, is earthbending. So that's why I'm getting earth energy, and that's why I got Virgo energy for this card as well. Or, sorry, person A as well. So yeah, a lot of grounding, but with each other, they almost get this fire. It's almost like if you looked at their composite charts, if we're still talking about astrology here, you see that they actually get a lot of fire signs between them, which is rather interesting. Also, I love that the lavender has the red background, because that was making me think of fire as well, but also calm. It's like a very peaceful fire, kind of like when you look at a bonfire. That's what this couple reminds me of, because bonfires can solve all kinds of problems, but they could also be calming. You can get rid of, you know, any burnable trash, but it can also just make you peaceful. I think fire is peaceful. I like it, but some people can also find it very not peaceful, but in this case it's that bright white fire of like love and desire between these two. Because I did talk about Netflix and chill. Yeah, they do actually like to chill, but they also like to watch Netflix and not watch Netflix at the same time, if you know what I mean. Let me know in the comments if this is what you and your person actually do. Oh, numbers. So we have 2, we have 30. Somebody could be 30, or you could both be in your 30s. We also have 32. Okay, 32. Somebody could be 32. And is that an L or an I? XLV. So 55. 55 could be an important number as well. Somebody could be life path 2, life path 5, a life path 5 again, because that's, or life path 3. But yeah, lots of lovely energy here. Lots of very chill energy for sure. Let's move on to the tarot to see what else we can get for you and your person, pile 4. But so far, I'm really loving this energy. I can definitely relate to some of it, being a Taurus myself. But let's see specifically what we got going on for you. My little Badger and Taurus. We have 7 of Cups, speculation, opportunity. I'm seeing this as the options you guys have. We also have Queen of Cups, authentic and virtuous. We also have, ooh, Queen of, okay, got 2 cards. Queen of Pentacles and Queen of Wands. Lots of Queen energy. I was getting a little bit of that at the beginning. This could be a same-sex couple, but only take that if it resonates, of course. It doesn't necessarily have to be. Or you could just both be in very feminine energy, regardless. I feel like there's definitely a lot of divine feminine energy appreciation in this connection. Regardless, it's very nurturing, because I just got that chill vibe. Is definitely very feminine. I'm not saying that men can be chill, and of course is regardless of what you identify as, but it's like being cozy at home, you know, and just chilling. Even if you guys do actually do a lot more stuff than that, that's the overall general vibe that you give off. And likewise, people can really relax around you. So let's clarify the 7 of Cups. We got the 6 of Pentacles, generosity. Yeah, lots of give and take here. Lots of a balanced emotion. To clarify the Queen of Cups, we have the 3 of Cups. So I feel like a lot of you guys have friends or friends in common. Let me shuffle these a little bit more. To clarify the Queen of Pentacles, we have the Queen of Pentacles. I feel like, and I love that practicality came up twice. I feel like you two are very practical for sure. Very nourishing as well. Very generous. And there's a chance that both of you grow your money. Like, even if you don't have money when you get together, or if your jobs aren't that financially, like they're not high-paying jobs, you somehow manage to grow money together. Whether that's through finding proper investments, or saving, or learning how to save together, or combining your money into like a specific bank account for, you know, fun stuff or for couple stuff. You might both be saving up for something big like a house, and that when you decide to sell it in the future will end up being worth like twice or 10 times what you bought it for. Something along those lines, because there's definitely plans here to grow and create a lot of things with each other. There's that potential. If you aren't already together, know that yeah, you're going to create some amazing things. This could also be creatively. You could be artists, because I'm getting a lot of Cups energy. Okay, and let me clarify the Queen of Wands so I can read this whole thing. We have the Queen of Wands. This is hilarious. I love that we got Queen of Pentacles and Queen of Wands. One of you might be a fire sign. One of you might be a earth sign. What's the back of the deck energy? We have 8 of Cups, walk away. And what was the back of the deck energy for the... We have the 2 of Swords. Interesting. What is it that they're walking away from? And what is it that they cannot communicate with indecision and avoidance? Let's start over here with the Seven of Cups, speculation, opportunity, and the Six of Pentacles, generosity. I love that generosity comes up like 3 times. I feel like you two are very generous with each other. So not only are you balanced, you give each other so much. And what you may give each other may be different, but regardless, it balances out to the point that you know that even if one is more emotionally supportive and one is more financially supportive, you equally give each other what you need. Like, it's worth the money for this person to give me the emotion they give me. And the other person is like, well, it's worth it for all the emotional support that they give me, that, you know, it balances out somehow, even if it's not the exact same thing that you're giving each other. With Seven of Cups, I don't think you understand. You have the world at your fingertips. You have so much opportunity. I feel like most of it is creative as well. I feel like the both of you will create so many things, so many beautiful things together. I really do feel like it could be children, it could be a home life, it could be, I'm hearing a lot of projects together, whatever that may be, especially if you're both creative. I feel like you combine your forces to do such great things, and people love these things because all these queens here, it's almost like I keep hearing yes, queen. People love the things that you two create because they see the love that goes into it. They see the passion that goes into it, and they see almost like this collaboration between you two. People love to see you two together. It's like when your two favorite artists get together and they do something amazing and you're like, yes, I want more of this. This is what I've been wanting. This is the collaboration I didn't know I needed. It's that kind of situation. With the Queen of Cups, authentic and virtuous, and Three of Cups, community, I really do feel like you have a very supportive community around you, or you can actually create that yourself. Especially, again, if I said, if you collaborate, say you're both YouTubers and you decide to make YouTube videos together, you will have such a huge following regardless, and you'll have so much support for this. Nobody's going to say like, oh, those two don't belong together. They're going to be like, these two people belong together, and it's rather beautiful. Pile 4. I'm loving this for you so much. With the Queen of Pentacles, squared here, doubled. I really do feel you guys are very practical. Whatever it is you do, you actually don't, your dreams are so simple, and yet you can create so much. Like, if you expanded past that sense of practicality, for example, I feel like right now you both just want a house. Well, this is an example. It's like the world is saying, well, what if you bought multiple properties and rented them out? Or what if you bought like a hotel and made it into this amazing, luxurious 5-star accommodation kind of place? It's like, why stop there when you could have all of this? Or it's like, I want to have, you know, a 6-figure salary. Well, why stop there? You could make millions, possibly billions. It's that kind of energy here where, yes, you're both very much, you guys are both on the same level. Let me clarify that as well. You guys are definitely each other's level. There's not one that is better than the other. There's just so much balance here. It's kind of like you might need this community to kind of push you a little bit, whatever that is, whether that's friends, family, or again, your followers. You kind of sometimes need that outside perspective to show you how much more you can have. With the Queen of Wands, generosity and tenacity and determination, there is nothing that neither of you can do, both individually and together. You have such charisma. You have such a force behind you. You definitely have charm. I feel like people think you're very cute together, that you're definitely very entertaining together as well, because with the Queen of Wands, I'm thinking of like Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. How sure they know they're the shit, but people love them for it. They're always like, yes, queen. I think that's where that was coming from. So you have everything here except swords. So I feel like some of you may think that you don't have enough clarity sometimes in this connection, or that there's not enough mental stimulation, specifically when it comes to okay, that makes sense. Walking away from situations that you guys don't need to be in. I feel like you're so inviting and so warm to certain things and people that you don't know how to say no to the things that are not going to benefit you. It's like, I'm just using an example here. Like, you both invite everybody to your house because you have a wonderful house and it's great and you're wonderful and you love to give to your community. But you always have that one person who kind of takes more than they should, or they create more chaos and drama than they should. And it's like you both don't know, should we just kick them out or should we just let them stay here and like bask in our wonderful energy so that they can, become a better person. But then they don't become a better person. So it's like you both need to know how to set boundaries with other people around you. Like, and another example, let's say you do have a YouTube channel together and you have this wonderful following. Well, you might have those followers who have nothing but negative things to say. And it's like, well, should we say something and shut them down? Or should we just, let them express their truth and be who they are? Because that's not our problem if they dislike us. It's that kind of that avoidance. Yeah, there's some avoidance here. And sometimes I feel like even when you two speak, there are certain situations, even though especially person A is a problem solver, there will be some things that either person may not want to bring up just so that they don't like mess up this connection that I think both of you understand is rather amazing. But Spirit is saying, go ahead and talk about it. Like, if you guys are that great of a couple together, you'll solve it. You'll be fine with it. Because what's underneath this? We have the Three of Cups again, happiness and compassion. Yeah, there's just so much lovely energy here. I really feel like your friends celebrate you so much. And your friends are happy to see you two together. So, and what is it that they need to walk away from? What do they need to send away? Oh. So we have the Two of Cups, but it was reversed. So I'm wondering if there were some people that kind of wanted to come between your connection and ruin it, because some people are just haters and they don't want to see people happy. And whatever, that's their problem, not yours. Let them go away. But some numbers coming through. We have 7, 6, 3, 2, and 8. And of course we have Q. I'm wondering if somebody has like a last name or first name with the Q in it for whatever reason. But yeah, I'm loving this Queen energy. You both nurture each other so much. And I love the feminine aspect of it. I feel like both of you really love and embody the feminine divine in this connection. Even if you're both masculine, or if this is a straight relationship, regardless. Yeah, there's a lot of emotional security in this connection. And it nurtures you all the way through. But let's move on to your advice cards. So I'm curious to see what else we got from my beautiful pile 4. So we have the Animal Apothecary deck, which I love. So we have, Get Out of Your Head, number 37. I feel like one or the other is a little bit in their head too much sometimes. Person A, definitely, because they got the Palace Athena card with I think. And focus on the big picture. You know what's interesting? I did bring that up. Oh, and look. We have a little crown here for this bee, and I'm thinking of a queen bee. Maybe you're both Beyonce fans or something. But I was getting that earlier, where you guys could create so much together, but you're both thinking so small. I feel like you will have that outside influence. It's going to come in and be like, I don't think you guys understand. You could actually do way more together if you really set your mind to it. So I'm wondering what that could be, or what that will be for you and your person. We also have the number 19 here. I'm going to get 2 more cards from my Affirmators deck. We have Vulnerability. I allow myself to talk about my feelings without fear of external judgment or internal drama. When I express my feelings, a couple of funny things happen. 1, I feel like a kindergartner. And 2, everything gets lighter, easier, and filled with the comforting glow of honesty. Hey, no wonder kindergartners seem so fun and glowy and free. Yeah, I feel like both of you are vulnerable with each other to some extent, but not fully. I feel like there are certain topics where you don't allow yourselves to be vulnerable. Or where maybe you've opened up to somebody in the past and you think that in this connection it'll be the same. But the truth is, that's not going to happen here, because you have found somebody who is willing to give you as much as you give them. We also have inspiration. I am open-hearted and eyes wide open-minded, ready to notice any microscopic speck of inspo that wanders my way. When it appears, I follow it without hesitation and resist the urge to ask a bunch of questions. It doesn't much matter where we're headed, inspiration and me, as long as we're wandering along together. Piñatas full of poignant moments are sure to follow. I really feel like you are each other's muse, or one or the other could be the other person's muse, because there's a lot of playful energy here too. This could be a younger couple, or a couple that's where you feel like you're teenagers with each other, regardless of what age you may be, because we do have 37 and 19. For some of you, it might be a bit of an age gap, but that's okay. I feel like I'm being asked to get one more because these two actually came out in like previous piles. So if you were in either of those piles, I feel like you deserve one more. Support. Yeah. What was I talking about? You have support outside of this connection. I look at the vast network of support in my life and I'm reminded of what a superpower it gives me. At any moment, I can call on an army of top-notch people who want the best for me, which means I'm basically invincible. Take that, loneliness. Run for the hills, boredom. I'm sorry, what did you say to me? Pervasive, all-consuming anxiety? Damn right you didn't. Yeah, I feel like you guys have such a network of people that love and support you. And I feel like a lot of this will actually, it may be family for some of you, but for those of you who don't have a family that supports you, you still have friends that are like family that support you, of all ages and of all backgrounds, so that you feel like it's a true family. But yeah, I feel like whatever worries you have, you shouldn't, well, I'm not saying you shouldn't have them, because your thoughts and feelings are valid, and as are your worries, of course, but it will help if you understood just how some of this support could actually be the universe supporting you as well, the universe supporting you and your person. If you don't have a big network of people or friends, the universe is supporting you in this connection because it understands that you were meant to meet each other to create wonderful things in this life, pile 4. And that is all I have for you today, pile 4. Thank you so much for letting me read you and your person. Let me know if any of this resonated, and if you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next reading. Take care.